Hello, this is Professor Guyatt again at Middlesex College. Today's lecture 2 for CSC162, Object-Oriented Programming using Java. Today we're going to delve right into that, into objects, object-oriented programming, and the classes on which objects are based. So let's share my screen. I'm back in Visual Studio Code. And as you can see here, I have an animal class. And what I want to talk about today is object-oriented programming. So in Java and other languages like C++, we create what's called objects, which are based on classes that we can define behavior for. So if we're going to look at an animal class, you could think about how like animals have uh, legs and a name and they make a noise, right? So we can define those attributes and behaviors of the animal. So we could do something like in num legs, the number of legs that the animal has. We could do its name, string name. We could do string noise, that the noise that the animal makes. So these are various attributes of the animal class. And as you can see, we're using the different data types that we defined in lecture 1, right? So here we're using one integer called numLegs and two strings. One is called name and one is called noise. In the class, we define the constructor, right? So I'll write a comment here. The comments are denoted by double backslash. So we have a constructor, we do public animal, and this is going to help us define our objects. So in the animal signature, in the signature of the constructor, we're going to put the attributes. So we're going to do in numLegs, string name, and string noise. These will be passed in from the main method and be defined as the attributes for this particular animal, for the animal that you create, the object that you create. Okay, so now what I do here is this dot. So this particular object's numLegs attribute is going to have the value of the numLegs that you pass in through the constructor. Okay, and then we do this dot name equals name, and this dot noise equals noise. So you start to see how you can be really creative in Java and other object-oriented programming languages, right? Because I'm customizing what my animal is going to be like. Okay, and then what I can also do is define methods for this animal. So we'll just do a couple. So, like, so the methods. So we could do something like public public void make noise, and this takes in the noise, and this method will simply print out the noise. Print line, sorry, system.out, print line, the noise. So this method will simply, when you call it, what we do is call methods, which means make use of them. When you call the make noise method on the object that you created, it's going to print the noise that you defined for that animal up here in the constructor. And this will all make sense when we define our objects in the main method. And then we'll just create one more, let's say, we'll do another print statement. We'll say public void get name, right? So this is a getter, get name, and this one would be just simply except the only difference is that I want to print it. Typically a getter is just returning a value, and we'll get into return statements at a later time. But for now, we're going to do get name, and we're going to just print the name. Name. And we can do make sure to pass the name in. Okay. So actually, yeah, so that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing the official way, yeah, so like the official getter where we use a return, which you'll see typically. This one I'm making it easier for us to use by using a print statement within the method so that when we call it in the main method, it's going to simply print and we don't have to use a print statement in the main method. But here, I'll do the official getter, which is typically what a getter would look like. A getter would look like this. It would do public, and then you would have the return value, the return data type, which is a string, and it's called get name, and it doesn't take an argument, and it returns the name. So this one I'll just, yeah, so this one will return the name. This one up here is the unofficial getter, and it'll print the name. So let's let's create an object now in the main method, public static void main, and you'll get used to defining it, string args. And we're going to define our first animal object. So we're going to do animal dog equals new animal. So this is the syntax. And remember that the animal constructor tells us we need an integer, a name, and a noise, right? So an int string, as it says right here. Look, Visual Studio Code is helping me out here. Look, see? So a number of legs, a dog has 4 legs. So we'll put 4. Its name, we'll just call it, what's a standard dog name? You know, uh, uh, Peter, sure. And then the noise it makes, rough, right? That's the noise dogs make. So see the customization that we get with object-oriented programming. Now I will call the methods I created, make noise and get name, on this dog object. So dog dot make noise, right? And does it need to, so make noise, it doesn't actually need to accept a parameter. Sorry about that. So I can just remove this and I can just use noise. Yeah, so it should just be make noise. And then let's print that. Let's make sure that our object is working correctly. So if I run this main method here, let's see what happens. Yep, rough. See what prints? Rough because I did dog.make noise. And dog, we define dog to have the noise rough, right? And when we call make noise, it's printing the noise, right? The noise, which was defined up here to be this dot noise, right? And then we print noise, right? Because noise was defined as the noise of our particular dog object. Let's use another method. What was the second one? Get name. So yeah, again, I don't need this parameter. So sorry about that. And then remove that. So all I need to do is, and then just rename this as like get name A. And this can be, yeah, so get name. So I don't know why there's a error here. Yeah, so it's not duplicate anymore because I renamed it. So let's do dog dot get name A and print that and run that. And there you go, Peter. So everything is working just as we would expect. And then the difference with the returns, the official getter, right? This is how a getter would typically look. The difference with this is that you're returning the name. So because I'm returning the value, I would need to put a print statement around dog.getName for it to show up here in the main method. So let me run this. And as you can see, it works both ways. Like this, because I put the print statement in the method, and like this, I put the print statement outside of the method. I put it in the main method instead. And let's just finish this lecture off with a setter. So what I can do is I can change the name of my dog. So I can do official setter, right? And we can do public. So a setter does not return a value. A setter just changes the value. So we do public void means you're not returning anything. So public void set name. And this time we do need an argument because we're changing the value of the name with a new name. So string name. And you do this dot, just like we did in the constructor, we're setting a new value for the name. So this dot name equals name, the name that you're passing in right here. This is the name that we're passing in. So let's do set name now. Let's change the name of dog. So dog dot set name. We'll change it to Fido, a more appropriate dog name than Peter, right? And then we want to do dog dot, sorry, we'll just copy line 37 and make sure that the setter worked, right? So now we should see make noises, rough, then get name A is going to print, or I can remove this now. So 35 is going to return rough, and then 36 returns the original name, Peter. Then 37, we're changing the name to Fido. And then on 38, we're printing Fido. So we should see rough, Peter, and then Fido. Okay, let's see. And that's exactly what we see. Wonderful. So this was a lecture on object-oriented programming. We have an animal class, attributes of the class, a constructor to define our object. We have a custom method, make noise. We have a setter and a getter. And we have the main method to test, define our object and test the custom method we created and the getter and the setter. Wonderful. This has been a lecture on object-oriented programming, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lecture. Thanks.